Hello, hello. Good evening, you guys. Just wanted to pop in really quickly here and just wanted to check in. And it really just crossed my mind to do a wellness check. And a lot of times, people can say they're okay when they're really not. And so tonight I wanted to just check in with you to make sure you're good. Are you okay? Um, yes, because the important thing to remember is that sometimes, hello, and welcome in, welcome. Sometimes it is important to just check on one another to see if you are doing okay. And you need to know that it's okay to not be okay some days. Um, because oftentimes we feel the need to perform, if you will. In other words, even if we're not feeling as strong that day, we have the tendency to perform in the way of saying um, that I'm stronger today than I should. And then in all reality, it's not the case. And well, hello, Fatima. Oh, if I need to say your name correctly, Fa- Fatima. I think that's it. I'm trying to get it correct. Hello, I've been catching your lives and I've been enjoying so much of the nature. And I caught the one with you fishing. That was so exciting. Just, you know what? I actually love to fish, and I have not done that for a really long time. I can't tell you the last time I have gone fishing, but just with you exercising out in the nature and just fishing, that is just so wonderful and encouraging and all of those things that you're doing in nature. So I'm excited and glad to have gotten a chance to be able to get on. And yes, I said I need to, I put in your chat, I said I need to get up and start exercising with you. Okay. Yes. All right. Well, tonight I am doing what's called a wellness check. You know how, if you haven't heard from somebody in a while, every now and then people will call and say, if they can't reach them, call and say, let me just do a wellness check. Well, for me, I decided to do a wellness check and just check on everybody out there and to see if you're okay. And I know that may sound strange. However, what I've found out that sometimes we as people can not truly be okay, and we will go through the motions of acting as if we're okay so that we're not judged by that if we're not okay, feeling okay that day. Um, Emotional health is very important just as much as the physical health is, as well as our spiritual health. So, all those things are vitally important. And I thought, let me just stop and say, This is a wellness check. Are we really okay? Um, for some reason, it's kind of taboo, if you will, if you talk about um, emotionally things you may be experiencing. Sometimes it may be just a rough day. It may have been a rough week, a rough season. And oftentimes we place ourselves on autopilot and we just keep going. We go through the motion of being mom, being um, wife, being the fix it person. Absolutely, I'm in agreement, total agreement. A lot of times it is easier to talk to strangers. And I found out perfectly, Fatima, that it's easier because they just listen, and it's not a where we have to pretend, and we're not being judged because of what we feel or what we're experiencing. We simply can just talk about it. And sometimes strangers listen without judging. And a lot of times that's what we need. We need for a person to be able to listen to us and not judge us based off of who who we are, or to even think, okay, well, we're not spiritually aligned enough if we're having these thoughts or feelings. What I've learned is we just have natural emotions, and sometimes we need to talk and not be judged by what we're saying, but to get it out because that brings healing, you know? When you talk about things, it actually brings healing, you know? So, how do you feel about that? Just being able to check on one another. Hello and welcome. Welcome. Being able to check on one another and being able to just openly talk to strangers. I think that that's what's happening, like within our community as we're growing with At Pitt's Life. A lot of us met off of her page and that connection, and we just have conversation, and we're going to each other's pages and we're learning something from them. And you know what I find very useful, actually, Fatima? I found it useful. It is a wonderful thing. I agree. I found it so valuable and useful as well, coming to you all's page where nature is being displayed. There is so much peace in nature. There's so much by the water, just being out and allowing the sun, to beam down. Just, it's so much that we can gather from being out. And so I want to really remind every one of you listeners how valuable you are as a person. Um, Oftentimes, we may not be as celebrated among those who are familiar with us. And sometimes our presence can be taken for granted, and the things that we do. And then I believe that God allows us to connect with other people that now see um, the value that we add to their lives. just in showing up. Like when you're out there exercising and people are counting how many times you're doing your squats or exercising, or I think, oh, let me read your comment there. Because I am so close to nature, I don't hear the noise of life, if that makes sense. Oh, that is powerful. That makes perfect sense. Um, that is a peaceful place of serenity within the nature. And so it does drown out the noise of life. That that makes perfect sense. Yes. And before I begin to catch your lives of the nature, one of the things I do personally to unwind and to um, relax is I put on nature sounds and I watch nature. I listen to the birds and the ocean. And I have recordings of me going out to the beaches and listening to the water and the birds and all those things. And that's a place of peace for me. And I call it moments of reset because it's in those moments when I know that I've connected with nature. I'm listening and I find so much peace and clarity during those times. Yeah. Oh, well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, it is. It is such a wonderful experience. Sometimes we can get so busy with life that we don't take out time to unplug and unwind um, and enjoy the nature. There's so much life in nature all around us. And so just being able to appreciate that, yeah, it makes a difference. And so thank you for being so transparently open, sharing the nature with us because it's needed, it's necessary. And I was going to say, it's a couple of lives I've been catching that they have nature. And I've been trying to figure out how you guys are setting that up. You got to give me pointers on that, Fatima. How you're setting it up to where you're just being able to see the nature. I'm not surrounded by as much right now where I'm at. Mine is pretty much, if I look outside, it's pretty much buildings and all of those things where I'm at. But at Pitts Life has taken it to another level. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I am so impressed that how she has just been so, I told her, so consistent. Even in her travel, she's incorporated that in what she's doing. And I just love that. I was like, wow. And even showing as she's on the cruise, showing the boat and everything. That is just so wonderful. I've been enjoying at Pitt's Life, her doing her lives and taking us on these journeys, um, even with her videos. It's been wonderful. And she is so dedicated. Um, and when we talked about the contest, I just happened to be on her page and we were talking. I said, "Hey, like, how about let's do a contest so that we can see who could do lives for the rest of the month? Just And at the time, to be honest, I couldn't even go live on YouTube because I'm not new to lives, but I'm new to YouTube, if that makes sense. So just putting that out there, and of course, everybody that's been doing their lives that said, yes, we're gonna, just do it. Well, you go live every day anyway, but I knew that that challenge itself, for one, would take us out of the comfort zone. Going live. I'm sure you've learned that as long as you've been doing it, that the more you do it, the easier that it gets. Because for some reason, we're all in our heads. We're so nervous and think it has to be perfect, and it just doesn't. We just have to be ourselves. And I believe that we attract the right tribe of people that see the value in us simply showing up as ourselves unapologetically, you know? So I love it. Yes. And I love the fact of in our community there with at Pitt's Life, we've been learning. Okay. Sis, you could just point your camera at the sun, moon, trees, or whatever. The more you do it, the easier it is. Correct? Yes, correct. I'm going to have to try to do that and see if I can find it out the window because I tried to do it a couple of nights just out the window and I just, um, for a little bit. And tell me this, Fatima. Now, do you actually have to have people on watching in order for that to count in your hours? Or does it count anyway? I don't quite understand your hours. If you're just letting it go, you know, if no one is watching, do they count that as watch hours? Do you know? Just kind of curious. And if anyone else knows the answer to that, then please let me know because I've been working towards trying to get those hours up. That's what I thought. So hours come from people watching. So that means if nobody is watching, then it's not being it's it's not being counted, right? That's what I thought. At least one person or somebody has to be watching. And so that makes sense. Then I did understand correctly because I know I did it a couple times, but I think maybe one person may have watched or wasn't sure if anybody watched on one of them one night. So just learning and trying to glean and learn more from all of you that have been on YouTube much longer, right? So tell me now, when it comes to um, doing your thumbnails or any of that, have you found something that works a little bit better? Because um, sometimes I'm going over there to make a thumbnail, and sometimes it seems like it's taking me a little bit longer than what it should. And maybe I'm overthinking it, right? But I'm just kind of curious to see if you found out something that works better. Yeah, if you have, then let me know. Um, and I'm still trying to learn, how people set their lives and then they loop it. and do it over and over and let it keep running as if they're live. And I was told that's on a restream. And so I was looking up that information. Are you familiar with that, Fatima? If you are, then let me know about that. I don't do anything special with thumbnails. I don't know how to do restream. Okay. Thank you for that. I've been Googling and trying to figure out because I heard it on Queen's Alchemy on her page, and I've been watching her and her interviews and different things. So I've been watching her and gleaning and learning, and she's been doing the lives every day, and so she's really fancy with being able to do the thumbnails, and her interviews are wonderful as well. Okay, I've heard of Restream. I actually heard about it off of Queen Alchemy's page and what she was sharing about how to upload the videos on Restream. So I thought that was good information. So I've been looking it up. I'm learning. I am learning from watching all of you. You know, you can get some good takeaways. Um, yes, Queen Alchemy definitely knows her stuff. Yes, she does. I have been really enjoying her content and what she's been doing, and yummy, delicious food that she's been doing in between as well. So, and with the contest, of course, I'll be doing the drawing. So, I don't know when At Pitt's Life will be back, but I do know that I'm going to be doing the drawing of those that had entered, but I may wait for her to confirm and tell me everybody's name, because their name will just go in and we'll just select someone out the. Um, I may do a live drawing, do it live, and whoever's name or channel gets pulled out, that's the person that will win the $50. And so, just an incentive, a way to help us to get comfortable with doing lives. Yes. Since my channel is really about building in Ghana, everything I'm doing now is just fill in for now. Yes, I realized that you were building a house in Ghana. It's being built now because that is your goal, is to move over there. So I've been watching and listening to you. So I think that is a wonderful thing about being able to move to Ghana. Um, Now, that's one place I have not been yet. I have been to Nigeria twice. Absolutely love it there. And I have been there. Oh, you're building two houses. Okay. Wow. That's wonderful. Um, and what I've learned about the different parts of Africa is what we pay per month, they pay for a whole year. I could not believe that when I learned. I first went to Nigeria, and I visited um, different places while I was there, and I learned that how different the money is, how different the culture and everything is, and it was just so wonderful. and being able to buy land and build, or even get a house or apartment. I mean, you can live in a mansion like. This is true. However, things are getting more expensive. Yes, I'm sure that's going to be all over. I think things are going to continue to increase, um, because I do have close friends and family, well, friends that are family to me, there, and we talk on a regular basis. And so, definitely looking forward to it. But I would love to go to at least visit Ghana, because I've heard so much about that as well. And so I am looking forward to being able to do that and to go. And I wanted to have a house there in Nigeria as well. And so I will continue. And I got a chance to help and go to the schools. And yes, you will have to come to Ghana. I will. Well, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, is it the same in Ghana as it is in Nigeria? In Nigeria, you have to have an invitation. You have to know someone or have an invitation, a letter of invitation from them. And then we had to get a Nigerian visa, which I have. And then we had to, yes, so it was a few things we had to do in order to go. That would be a blessing to be able to go. So, do you have to have a letter of invitation to be able to visit Ghana? And also, do you have to have is a visa required, or just your passport? My son in law is from Nigeria. Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Yes, you need an invitation if you are not going as a tourist. Right, correct. Okay. Yes. So, um, not as a tourist. Yes, a visa is required. Okay, so it is the same. And how is the turnaround time? Can you get it fairly quickly? Um, I'm familiar with Nigerian visas, and I actually help others as they're getting ready, prepared to go over. So these are things I do behind the scenes. I'm going to upload some of my visit there as I traveled and all of those things. It was just so wonderful. Yes, definitely home for me. Um, we were definitely welcomed and just treated like family. I would say about 8 weeks for a visa. Okay. Okay. Um, yes, that does make a difference. Time to get it and have it sent over and send it back. Um, if they do it the same, because we had to turn in our passport and wait for them to add the visa and then get it back to us in time for us to travel. And so we experienced that. And since I've done it a couple of times, I've done where I've taken groups over. It's small groups, but so I help individuals as they're trying to prepare to go to Nigeria. So that's something that I do to help with travel, letting them know all of what they need, what's required, how to upload the documents. Um, yes, so I do that. I love helping other people, as a desire to go over. So I'm going to have to incorporate Ghana in that. Um, so yes, I was able to go, and I've been to several villages there. I've been to, got invited to the King's Palace, um, and was able to go there and was welcomed in one of the villages. Um, and when you go there, I don't know if it's the same in Ghana. When we were welcomed, of course, we received invitation to the King's Palace. Oh, okay. Yes, I will have to do that. I did all of these videos and all of these footage of when I was there. Even you'll see me and the group as we went to the King's Palace and him welcoming us. And we received there, whenever you come, they gift you. Yes, well, we didn't know to take a gift to him, but he gifted us. When you go, what did we take? Now, we brought gifts to the entire, like to the village, to the schools. So those were things that we brought. And we brought material, things for their schools, and we had their complete uniforms made for 2 schools in his village. And we brought things that they needed, toiletries. We bought all kind of things. So we came bearing gifts, and I believe that's how the king got the word, and he requested to see us because he wanted to know who are these women that are coming and bearing gifts to help our people. And it was just such an honor. And of course, the King's court, they taught us how to bow properly and how to speak and everything. So I learned so much being over there. Now, I've stayed a total of 2 months. So I was there quite a long time to get very acclimated to the culture there. I stayed for a month at one time and then went back 3 months later and stayed another month. And so definitely, and we brought gifts both times, things that they needed. And we bought rice and beans and all those things, and we handed it out to the widows and to the different families there. Um, we went to, next time, take him a personal gift. Okay, you will be forever in his good graces. Okay, thank you for that. I will have to do that when I go next time. Um, because not knowing, we didn't even know we were going to see the king. It was after we arrived that we got word that the king requested to see us. And I was wondering, how does the king even know we're here? Well, I found out they definitely know. They know. And the fact that we were bringing so much in and coming to help the schools and the children, and we brought all kind of things like the toiletries, the small things. We brought when you want land, he will make sure you get the best deal. Wow, wow. Now, that was the other thing I found out there. In order for me to have purchased, the, I had to either be part Nigerian, married to a Nigerian, or something in order for them to allow us to purchase. Yeah, yeah, that's found that out. But I tell you, the most amazing thing happened to me, Fatima. When I went, there was this feeling that came over me like I was home. Now, I know it may sound strange. Okay, Ghana lands are, deals are different. Okay. But I experienced where I had this feeling. It felt so just it felt like I was at home, like I do when I'm here in the US. And so I was sitting outside where the palm trees were and all of those things, beautiful, beautiful homes and neighborhood. And my friend had asked me, could I see myself living there? And I said, yes. I said, I feel like I'm at home. And, you know, yes, absolutely. I hear you with that. Visiting the USA and Ghana, Africa is my home. I hear you for sure with that. And I I felt that connection when I went, so much so that I had this strange, overwhelming feeling to have a do a DNA test when I came home, and because I've never done one, um, and so I ended up doing that, and that's when I found out that I am part Nigerian. Never knew that until after I went and I had that experience, that feeling that came over me. And everyone kept saying, you act like you're a Nigerian woman. You know, just everything. So come to find out that was part of it. And so just experienced that, and I really, really I'm grateful for that experience. And so, yes. And I hear the land and everything there, it is so affordable, affordable in Ghana. And it definitely is there in, I am 45% Nigerian. That's where our ancestors were taken from. That's what I found out about me. But I found out that I'm 75%. And it all made sense to me for sure. Um, 75% Nigerian. Yes. And so I began, of course, down that road and learning as much as I could about the different tribes. And according to that, it says that my ancestors and those are probably still there even now. And the ironic thing was the very place, the villages that I went were villages that um, my ancestors and family live in. And I never knew anything about that. I only knew the percentage of the mixture from the other uh, cultures. I knew that part, but I never knew my African ancestors' roots. Yes. Yes. So, 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 yes. So So I began to learn about it. And so, well, yes, yes, it is. It is. And that's exactly how I felt because I never knew that until I went. And I was so much like them. Everybody that met me, that's all they kept saying. You act like a Nigerian woman. And I just laughed, you Niger, you act so Nigerian. And they would ask me, how do you know how to cook like Nigerian? How do you know how to, and I could understand them. I understood their dialect. I knew what they were saying. And I could understand them. And even with them speaking pidgin English, they were like, how do you know? How can you understand? How do you know? And I said, I don't know. I could not answer it. And the whole time they said, you act like you're Nigerian. Because, of course, being there that long, then you get to see. And I cooked. I was the person that cooked and served and did all of that. Um, I love to cook anyway. And just the normal way that I would cook that I learned was the same way that Nigerian women cook. But I didn't know that. I was, and I told them, they kept asking me, how do you know these things? How do you know how to, the, oh, am I married in the US? No, going through finalizing divorce over here. Yeah. But I often thought, Lord, I will take a Nigerian man or a Ghanaian. I just, I did. After I went over there, I said, well, this is where all the men are. We're wondering, where are they? They're here. So it was quite an ordeal. I am sorry, you will marry a Nigerian. Amen, amen, amen. Amen. That's not the first time I've heard that. But I said, oh, and what I found out, the way that they treat the women was so, they don't let you lift a finger. Like I wasn't used to going in to shop and them paying for everything, them taking care of everything, trying to make sure you're okay. And do you want to eat? You want chop? You know, you would tell them what you wanted to eat, or and and of course I learned some of their different dialect of the different tribes. Um, yes, I often thought about about that. I was told that you're gonna marry a Nigerian man, but we shall see. We shall see. But let's see. You won't have to worry about land then. They are very respectful. If they don't have money, they have manners to make up for the lack of money. Yes, yes. And the way I loved how they are taught to, hard workers, they work so hard. Wow. And they're taught to really be respectful. Um, just, I was so impressed that I thought, wow, this is nothing like the US. Nothing. As far as the men, as far as how you're treated, and all of that. But over here, I thought, well, it would have been nice to have met somebody here in the US. I'm in the Atlanta area, Georgia. And I thought it would be nice. There's a lot of them here, I'm told. I just haven't met any. Well, mistakenly, I met one that he was a professor, but I think he was quite westernized. That's what I want to say. Because I don't think he liked the fact that I acted too Nigerian for him. And it was funny, but no, sis, go meet one there. Go meet one there. Well, you know what? When I went, they sure were, they were inquiring very, very much. And I just was like, whoa. They were definitely inquiring. Um, and the thing of it is, I know that there have to be those that are real, but you do have those that, it's a lot of fraud. And so that would be my concern. That's why I wanted to meet one that already has a visa or already has their information so that it doesn't appear that they're trying to get a wife just so they can have a visa. That was my reasoning for saying it like that. So, but I'm definitely open to meeting one. I kept saying after I left, I was like, Lord, God, you've got to send me a Nigerian man. That is, believe it or not, Fatima, that is my desire. I want to have a home in both. I want to have a home here and I want to have a home there so that I can travel here, stay part, visit my family here, and then travel there and to be able to have my home and live there. That's actually my desire. Ever since I went there, I have that desire. Um, and I was going to help build a school and just, so yes, those are things that have been on my heart because I'm a retired teacher, although I still do consulting, and coaching, mentoring, and consulting. I still do that. But because my passion and love for children, I desire to build a school to help educate them and help with getting those clean water and those things. And I actually began to work with another friend of mine there, and now that's something that he does within um, his ministry and outreach. I worked with him, and he began to carry on the things that were the vision of. Um, Mine was called Heart to Heart International Outreach Ministry, and he Mission 316, and that's what he does. He feeds the widows and the children and the orphans. He feeds and he helps with building clean water things. So everything that I started with him and the vision, he is now carrying out and has been ever since I went over there. And so, yes, so I'm really, really excited about that. But yes, So I figured if I can continue to, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, continue to learn more and glean so that I can do that. And I have some ideals of things that I want to be able to do anyway. And once I did get the DNA that shows proof of me being part Nigerian, then I do qualify for to be able to purchase there and all those things. And I have my national ID card, which shows that for me having that. So I have that. That's what they call it. National ID card for Nigeria. Have that as well. So it's been quite a bit, quite a journey that I have had. And I cannot wait to upload that information to show the travel, being able to go there in the different villages and helping. And one of the things I also helped to do was some of the widows that I had met, helped to pay for their apartment for the whole year. And I helped to buy school supplies and the books, the writing material for the children. So I was able to sponsor, I think for 500, I want to say 500 children. So I've been blessed to do a few things there and absolutely just loved every minute of it. So I want to be able to experience that with going to Ghana as well and seeing how things will work. Amen. Amen. God is good. 500. Yes, it was 500 for 500 children. And that's what we did at the villages, even with making their new uniforms. You know, they have to wear uniforms. So we did 2 schools, and each school had about 250 students. We did that. And thus where I did the donation for the writing material for the 500 for those children at the schools. So yes. So I bet the king would get you some land. Just ask him. Oh, you know what? I never thought about asking the king. Wow. And do you know that they're king of one of the villages called Abraka? Abraka. Abraka. Yes. That was the king of Abraka. And he actually used to be here in the U.S. and had served in the army here in the U.S. years ago. And he went back and became king. Yes, it was amazing. So he said he wanted to meet the women that were brave enough to still come. He said now maybe people will see that it is safe for them to still come and visit here, Nigeria, he said. And they gave us what's called a kola nut. They said, which is the highest gift that you can receive. So the king gave us a kola nut, and they cut it, and we broke in 8 pieces of it. And that was their way of saying, you know. And the king blessed us. He gave us the royal scepter, and he blessed us and said we are welcome at any time. And he sent the word to throughout the village to to accept us, and to that we were really genuine. It was such a blessing. Yes, so inspiring. This is so inspiring to hear. Thank you, Fatima. Um, he told the people, and he had his royal court, the men, go down to the schools and tell them the king has given his approval of these people, and you are to accept them. And it's okay because they came and they meant us no good. They brought gifts and they are here to help us. And just having that backing from the king saying, yes, you need to accept them. And it was wonderful. And it really was quite an experience. And I can't wait to upload and show. And of course, on some of them, I'm dressed in their attire, and with the full attire on. They had dresses made for us, and head wraps, and all of those things. It was just beautiful. And matter of fact, I was gonna say I don't. Yes, Fatima. That meant that you all were under his protection. Yes, Fatima. I have never seen, I when I'm telling you, I've never been treated with such royalty before in my entire life here. Never. Not only did the word get out, but where we were staying, they sent escorts. And they escorted us in like they would over here where the stars, where you have a big long escort, and um, where you all the cars are surrounding, and they're doing the sounds and sirens and telling everybody to move out of the way because royalty is coming through. That's what they did to us. I mean, me and my apostle from the church, it was us four ladies. They did. And when we traveled anywhere, we had specific guards that were around that were sent to escort us to different places. When we had to speak, we received an escort like that. And I was like, what? So there's it was just total different. It was just, I thought, like, who are we? We're not even as famous like as other people, but we received that type of treatment from them. And the king said, you all are always welcome. There's an open invitation for you here. And when you come to town, come back to visit. We want to see you. Yes. So it was amazing. It was so amazing. And I have videos of us learning how to eat the food and trying it for the first time, and how they are laughing at us because we don't know how to do swallow. We didn't know how to properly eat the food. And they wanted to know, how did I know how to make it? I can't explain any of it. I just knew how. I mean, that's all I could say. I am going to upload those. I'm going to have to because it was so amazing. Um, Pictures and videos, and yes, I have a lot to share. And yes. hmm So this has just been a wonderful conversation with you, and I appreciate you so much. I cannot wait to share um, because it definitely, yeah, definitely is worth it. So, yep. So I think I've almost been on here, what, maybe an hour? I think I may have just made an hour, a little over an hour. But I appreciate you just having a conversation and just supporting with your presence. I don't take that for granted or lightly. And I'm honored, Fatima, to have you tonight. And I thank you. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very grateful. Now, in Ghana, do they have several languages like they do in Nigeria? Because there's so many tribes there that they have all different kind of languages. I want to say more than 200, maybe. It might be more than that. I don't know. I don't remember. Excuse me. Several. Okay. Now, do they do pidgin English also? Excuse me. I do know they had to. Okay. Pidgin English. Excuse me. In Nigeria, all of them speak pidgin English so that they can communicate among the different tribes. Very good question, Fatima. What is pidgin English? It is, okay, they speak full English. Now, in Nigeria, they speak full English as well. But so that they can communicate with every single tribe, they also have a language across the board that they call Pidgin English, and all Africans in Nigeria speak Pidgin English as well as their English. And Pidgin English is specifically so that they can communicate between tribes. So, because they have so many languages, they said they had to come up with a English. Yes. Okay, I understand. Yes, they came up with an English to where, irregardless to what part they were from, they all could speak to each other. Yes, because you got, Yoruba is very well known. So Yoruba, then you have uh Yoruba, and then it was very smart. So when they start talking, if they can't understand, their form of English or their native language, they say pidgin English, speak pidgin, and then they all speak it. hmm And I learned how to speak pidgin English. I understand it very well. And I learned some Igbo. I learned a little bit of Igbo language because I was a tribe that my friend is from. And so I learned. And do they give names in Ghana? They replace and give you a name from the country, because they do that in Nigeria. They name you. Okay, wonderful. I have been given Nigeria names. Yes. And they try to give you a name according to the tribe that they believe you're from, or yes, that's how they name you, and it's something that they see in you, and they name you. So, and my friend and his family, they came up with a name for me and gave me that name. And another man that I met, he also gave me a name. So I have two Nigerian names. Yes. Um, one of my names is Suru. Two names. Uh-huh. Yes. And one of my African names is Suru. They named me as Suru. hmm And the other name that I was named was Esiojene. And one name means wealthy and beautiful. Um, oh, that's wonderful. I will have a naming ceremony when I get there. Oh, that's going to be so wonderful. Yes, that is wonderful. I've been watching different videos of like different people who have gone over to Ghana, and Ghana welcomed them, and they were from the U.S. Ghana welcomed them, and the celebration that they had. I've been watching that. I thought that was so beautiful that they were accepted into their country culture. So they didn't uh, have a ceremony, but they did name me um, Esogene. I think means like God's gift. Uh, I don't remember with that one, but there are two. There were many who got their citizen. Yes, I saw that. Now, I desire to have a dual citizenship. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So, for sure, that is what I desired. So, I was looking up all that information before. So, that's, I think I saw the clip of that. Um, they got dual citizenship. Okay. Wow. Now that's what I desired. And that's why I was sharing with you how I desire to have a place there and a place here for both, for dual citizenship. Just, yes, that's my desire. So, yes. And that's really great. I guess their process of getting citizenship must be fairly easy because it was a lot of people they did at one time in Ghana. A lot. Yeah. And the difference is they don't have credit. You don't have to worry about if you qualify. If you have the money, then you get the place. They were living. And the myth, it is so much wealth. I I was so impressed with how much wealth was there. I never knew that. Because if you haven't been and all you see is what they've shown on TV and you only see the poor parts, that's all they ever show. So you don't know that I mean, it reminds you of uh, New York or Atlanta or some of these big places, buildings. Oh my goodness. And the way they dress, their clothes, and the grocery store. Get this, Fatima. The grocery store was inside of the mall. It's called ShopRite. Now they have the market on the street, but the grocery store is inside of the mall. The mall, there was levels and levels. It was amazing. And their decorations, like it's a lot of wealth there. I thought, look at how they driving. And the places we stayed in mansions. We had servants. We had people that opened the gate that let you in. And yes, we had cooks. You have servants. It was unbelievable. In our Airbnbs, it was gated community. You had to be let into the gate, and you have people that physically open the gate, welcome you in, take you into the mansion, and it was like nothing I've ever seen before. You say, sis, look how much gold is on the continent. Absolutely. Absolutely. This it has just been so eye-opening. I never knew. I personally never knew that until I went. And I could not believe the wealth. And even though um, Wakanda was a fictional place, I said, it's like Wakanda. Like, I'm serious. The wealth and the places, it was so it was it was breathtaking, just beautiful. And they had the extreme rich, and then you had the poor. What I didn't see is kind of a middle. I've only learned a lot of things in the last year. Wow, that's wonderful. Um, so what set you on your journey to be able to um, build in Ghana? What set you on that path or journey? I'm always so curious um, because when I got ready to go, I'm going to tell you how I ended up going. I saw it in a vision, in a dream, and I was traveling to Africa. And I knew God was telling me that I needed to go. In January 2024, I heard about the year of the Return Initiative in Ghana. Wow. Okay. That's wonderful. I'm always curious. For me, my journey started when I saw it in a vision. I saw it in a dream, and I kept hearing God speak to me concerning going. And at the time, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the connection or any of those things. But soon after I saw that, I remember telling my pastor, I said, God showed me going to. We were on a plane and I was going, and I kept hearing and I kept feeling a pull, a calling to go. And it just began to manifest. A few months later, I ended up meeting somebody, and it was a divine connection. And we both had similar things that we had passion about. And from that connection, just God began to align things. And within 3 months, we were heading there. And just the fact that all of the paperwork, everything came through so quickly, we knew that it was God. Okay, Fatima says this initiative started in 2019. I didn't know about it. Land was set aside for all African American blacks spread out across the world. Really? I never knew about that. I never knew about that. I just know I've heard a lot of people talking about buying land and different things over in Ghana. I've heard a lot of people speaking about it. Now, I've haven't been invited from anyone to Ghana yet. Well, other than you saying it. But I have been invited to Kenya. I haven't gone yet. Okay, Fatima says, Google the year of the return to Ghana. Okay, I certainly will. Definitely will. Wow. Yes. I'm going to have to look that up so that I can make myself familiar with it. Yes, I've been hearing about so many people buying and moving there, and I mean just the places, and again learning that what we pay for a month, you pay for the whole year there. Well, I don't know if it's for the whole year the same as in Ghana, but I know in Nigeria you pay for the whole year. So if it's 3,500, oh, okay. Fatima says, getting back to what you were saying about how you decided to go to Nigeria. Yes, I was sharing that. It came to me and God began to speak to me. And when I saw that in a dream and I saw myself in a vision going in a plane, and I remember speaking to my pastor at the time on the plane, and I said, we're going, we're actually going to Africa. And I remember having that dream, and I remember mentioning it to my sister. And I said, I saw myself going to Africa. And I remember her telling me, she said, well, don't leave me out whenever you go. But I didn't know anybody at the time. And I really began to feel a pull, a call of God to go. And I said, God, I can hear you. I can feel you pulling me. I said, and I don't know how it's going to happen or when. I said, but I hear you. And the call was so real and so strong. I shared it with my pastor, and then she began to say, I felt like that we're supposed to go to Africa or, you know, different parts. I just didn't know when. Thank you. Thank you, Fatima. She says, I believe you 100%. It's true. And I said, well, I shared it with her, and I end up meeting a guy. Um, he got in my inbox one day and just began to talk. And we began to speak about worship. And I think I said to him, I believe that worship is your lifestyle, not just what you sing. So you worship God in your life, with your life. You don't just sing it, you live it, you know. And he thought that was very profound, and he's Nigerian. And so we just had a conversation and realized we had begun to talk and had like-minded passion. He had such a desire to help children, and that was my passion. So we began to work together and talk. And I set up a meeting. I wanted my pastor to meet him. So we all got on the video chat, and she met him, and she heard his heart, his desire to help the children there. and to help his people. And he needed some help. And she says to me, we're going to Africa, after she talked to him. And I said, oh, okay. She said, no, I hear God speaking. She said, we are going to Africa soon, within the next 90 days. Like, so immediately she said, find out everything you can find out about what we need and how we get there. Immediately started Googling, I started learning, I started searching out the culture, what to expect. I start gathering information on us, what we need, how do we get there. So we started the process of realizing at the time, none of us had passports. I'm going to tell you how much this was God. Not only did we not have passports yet, we didn't have visas. And so everybody kept telling us, oh, they were telling her, that's a 2-year process. There's no way you're going to be able to go to Africa in a couple of months. It's going to take you 2 years. Uh-uh. Not when God has purpose for you to do something. Then the favor comes in and doors begin to open, and people, you can't explain it. You know that it's God. First of all, they weren't handing out appointments, and God kept telling me when to reach out and to email them and to all the things he gave me to do. It worked. I ended up having them pick up the phone for the Nigerian embassy here in Atlanta, Georgia. I ended up talking with them over the phone, getting an appointment. They scheduled us in. We end up getting in. I mean, just all of the chain of events. They told us exactly what we needed and how we can get there, and even what type of visa to get. We didn't get a tourist visa. So even with knowing just all the right things to do, it was God's leading. And do you know, in a matter of 3 months, we got our passports back first in 8 weeks. Everything fell into place. That is correct, Fatima. And then we were waiting for our visa, and we were scheduled to leave. You had to buy your ticket and show that you're going. You had to have everything. And it was the week that we were supposed to leave, and our visas came back within 2 or 3 days. It was something unbelievable. Like, literally. And other people that had went in it, had taken them a couple years to get everything, were shocked. And within 90 days, we were on a plane flying to Nigeria. Everything had came into place. The Airbnb, it was just everything fell into place. And of course, we had our letters, we had everything in place, every document, and we went. And yes, it was it was so amazing. And after going, different ones were just so impressed by how quick that things turned for us. And, you know, we can't take for credit for that. We just know we just followed what we heard. Everything came into alignment. And then we had the kind of visa that allows you to make several trips in just whenever you want, in and out. And the great thing was with Nigeria, once you had a Nigerian visa, you can just enter in and out. You didn't have to go through the process all over again when you came back. So we went, and April, May, and we turned around. We went right back in November. Multi-entry visa. That's exactly what we have. And it was good for a couple of years. Yeah. And that's what we have. So I would suggest for anybody to go ahead and get that one so that you don't have to go through the process over and over. And it allows you to come in and out. So it was wonderful. And since then I've helped other groups and other people go to know what to get, know what's expected, and yes. So, but that's how I ended up going. And when we were actually on the plane, I remember looking at her and I said, didn't I tell you this? That God showed me us on a plane. And I was like, and where are we? We're on the plane going. it was so it was so unbelievable. And get this, Fatima, the very place that I end up going to, we visited several villages, was the exact same places that my ancestors are from. And I was so overwhelmed with emotion and just so grateful. I felt like that God was speaking to me to go and do that to help the children and the people during that time. And I was just honored and grateful that he would speak to me to do that. Just grateful and very honored. So, but yes, definitely an experience. That's how I ended up going. It was, Fatima says, that had to be mind blowing. It was very mind blowing. Just that whole trip and how everything came together. And it wasn't easy because we were trying to do something in 30 days that took people, I guess they prepare at least a year in advance before they go. I don't know. But for us, we did it in a 90-day window. Passports, visas, all of that. And we were there. So I just believe when it is meant to happen, that everything aligns with that. And we have to follow that process and know that that's God's open door for us. Yes. People's lives are forever transformed and changed out of that interaction. And we went back even later. Like I said, 3 months later, 4 months later, we went back. And